Make each and every day count. Each day is a gift. We've got the team together. A busy time in the news world. And thank you, Marie, for presenting all of that news there in the busy world of news that we're living in these days. Marie Osborne. Dana Clark is here helping out with news, information, traffic, weather, a thought or two, an opinion, a reminder that it is indeed Friday.
Yay.
Yay, indeed. We've got Brian Morton in the booth, pressing all the right buttons, keeping us moving right along. And Mike Kim up and at 'em, sending me stories. I see we have some stories here about the woman who accused the young man of stealing her phone in the hotel. We've got the rest of the news of yet another person dying. The police officer was hurt in those riots at the Capitol. The officer, Brian Sicknick, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. My phone just clicked it off. Sicknick, I don't know how else to pronounce it, has died of a brain injury, some of the injuries he suffered in that horrific experience a couple days ago. We have our executive producer, Ann Thomas, who is watching the show, running it by the clock, the grandfather clock. And Ann had a heck of a doozy of a day yesterday. And when I signed on this morning and I didn't see her, I thought, uh-oh, Ann isn't going to be there. But, everything's okay with Mom?
Yes, everything is just fine. Happy Friday, Deb. Happy Friday, everyone. I will tell this story because it's kind of a cautionary tale. I picked Mom up from a doctor's appointment and very nicely deposited her safely back home in the driveway.
Deposited her.
And we got out of the car, and don't ask me exactly how this happened because I replayed it in my mind a million times and still can't figure it out. But long story short, her fingers on her left hand got stuck in the car door.
Oh my gosh.
I never know how it happens, but it happens. You hear about it.
Goodness.
People getting their hands stuck in the car door.
That hurt so bad.
And it was interesting because that's what the emergency room doc said. So we started at urgent care and they said, no, you don't belong here. Mm-hmm. You belong in the emergency room. So we ended up in the emergency room for a very long time yesterday. But all is well. Mom's okay.
Okay.
And there's
wow. So her fingers they're bruised.
One is let's just say, since it's early and people might be eating breakfast, one's in bad shape.
Oh, Annie. Oh.
Yeah.
So
well, Mom.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say she fell on a slippery spot, but when you get your hand, that hurts so.
Oh, and you can't believe you did it once you do it.
Exactly.
It's like you've got in and out of cars
100 times,
a gazillion times. And then you go, wait a minute, wait a minute, I'm trying to walk away from the car, but I close the door and my hand is stuck in the door.
You know what, Paul? That is exactly, but your description is exactly how it went down. We both looked at each other. She said to me very nicely and sweetly, she's so lovely. Right. She said to me, honey, my hand is in the door.
Oh, man. Oh, gosh.
Honey, my hand is still stuck in the door. The things we experience in life as we deposit our parents. It is 5:42 at WJR.
This report is sponsored by SafeExcavator.com. Call or click 811 before you dig. There's a lot of stuff underground you can't see, and every few minutes somebody digs into a line, pipe, cable, or wire. Don't be that person. Call or click 811 before you dig and visit SafeExcavator.com.
We've got our WJR traffic and weather. First, we have Dana Clark.
Traffic First sponsored by North Bloomfield Properties. If you're looking for a place to call home, let North Bloomfield Properties find the best place for you and your family. They also provide pre-screened quality tenants to their property owners. They love to match good people to good homes. Contact them today, northbloomfield.com. Accident along 96 westbound at Milford Road. A wreck there is blocking the right shoulder. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Primetime Testing Laboratory. Specializing in automotive interior mechanical testing. If it's in the car, Primetime Testing tests it all. They are the automotive industry's most accurate test reporting and guaranteed on-time delivery. For your next automotive project, hire Primetime Testing Lab. Get a free quote at primetimetestinglab.com. That's primetimetestinglab.com.
No big snowstorms in sight or any storm of that type. Arctic air stays north for now. Cloud sun early, cloud sun this afternoon. Got a pair of threes at 33. Tonight settling back to 24. Suburbs a little bit colder. Saturday sunshine and clouds upper 30s. Sunday mostly cloudy with highs in the mid 30s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stagik on News Talk 760 WJR.
30 degrees right now at 5:44, and it's not going to get much warmer than that for the day, at least. Although we will warm the cockles of your hearts with Rush Limbaugh, who was back yesterday, in and out with his treatment for his lung cancer as he fights a gallant battle. He was there yesterday, and he is here right now, checking in on WJR.
Pennsylvania Republicans hold the majority in that state legislature. On Tuesday, they prevented Democrat State Senator Jim Brewster from being seated for the new term. The issue was mail-in ballots. Mr. Brewster, the Democrat, defeated his Republican opponent by just 67 votes. But 311 mail-in ballots were counted, even though they were not dated. That's a violation of the state's election law. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court, run by liberal Democrats, ignored the law. Surprise. They said these ballots could be counted, so Republicans took the case to federal court, where it is still pending. Meanwhile, Democrat Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman tried to seat Mr. Brewer. Republicans, in what the media calls an unusual move, said no way. They voted to remove the Lieutenant Governor as the presiding officer of the proceedings, and then refused to seat Mr. Brewster until further review. Now, of course, the Democrats went ballistic. Pennsylvania's Democrat hack Governor Tom Wolf accused Republicans of subverting the Democrat process. Democrats, as all of you know by now, believe they are entitled to bend the law or to break it or to stomp on it or ignore it whenever their power is at stake. And anybody gets in their way is subversive. Thankfully, it seems Pennsylvania Republicans have had enough, and they actually want their election laws followed. It's a novel concept. We'll keep track here.
Rush Limbaugh, noon to 3 today, right here on WJR. All righty.
Away we go. You know, the other part of the story is I've really, really worked hard to avoid any, situations where I might come into contact with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
How was the hospital packed?
It was packed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hope everybody had a mask on.
Everybody had a mask on, and they did a very nice job. However, we spent most of the time in the emergency room in the hallway.
Yep.
Because
lined in the hallway.
So busy.
Lined up in the hallway.
That's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, a little bit of since we're off the regular air, and this is the backstage thing, and it sounds like Dana, you are far away from your mic, and it sounds a little distracting. But there's also some noise. And I don't know if it's an echo or whatever, but
yeah, it is.
We're hearing some other
I
stuff.
hear it too.
And
you know what it is? Marie got new equipment. Marie, do you think it's you?
It's always me.
Right. You look good.
That.
You
Hey,
look
you look
good.
great.
You
look
got a new
marvelous.
camera or something?
You look
look
marvelous.
like you
There's your light. Look at you, girl.
She got all new everything.
It
No,
looks
Yeah,
actually, I did not. I just
Oh.
moved my. I'm using a new lap. I'm using the laptop that I use for the company instead of my personal laptop with this camera here. So I've just turned my orientation, and Ray set up the inputs off of my Comrex, which I used my Comrex. I checked with Brian this morning. We talked. So this is the mic that I usually use anyway. So
It's a better. I mean, it's a better mic. I have one here, and I wish I could use it, but I don't.
Yeah,
I can, I guess.
I've been using this with you guys since before Christmas. So uh,
You're hearing the Paul W. Smith Show. News Talk 760 WJR.
I don't know what we're just going over some technical issues here. 5:48 here on WJR this Friday morning. I mentioned that now 5 people have died in relation to the Capitol riot, including Officer Brian Sicknick of the U.S. Capitol Police, who was injured while physically engaging with protesters, police say. The head of the Capitol Police has resigned, and they're obviously they're screaming for heads because they felt there should have been a lot better, quicker reaction. Even with the Capitol Police split up, going to 2 different bomb threats and a few other things, people had their way with the Capitol, and it's supposed to be a very secure building. And it's being said. Monday morning quarterbacking, but it's being said they should have called in reserves earlier. The National Guard should have been put on alert because, unbeknownst to me, and maybe you guys knew this, but apparently leading up to this fateful day, Wednesday, right, was a lot of social media calling for people to do this. I mean, there were buses lined up. There were groups of people who were making great plans to march on at least the Capitol. I don't know if any of them, well, some of them clearly knew they were going to charge the Capitol, but some people just showed up thinking they were at a rally, and it became so much more than that. But be that as it may, they never should have been able to get in the way they did and wreak havoc the way they did. And 5 people dead for a lot of related complications. 3 of them were medical issues that probably would have happened in a large crowd like that anyway, but certainly the woman getting shot in the neck, the veteran, by trying to climb through a window to get into the Capitol, and then this police officer in the altercation with a brain injury dying. But 5 people, no matter how you look at it. So it's an ugly picture that just got uglier. Does anyone know anything else or learned anything else overnight or this morning?
That issue with the social media, that I saw several reports on that, and they showed tweets and posts on Facebook. They black out to and from, of course, but it said things like, "Oh, well, they only have 300 officers at the Capitol during these hours, so this would be a good time to go there."
Oh my God, you're kidding.
There were like some very specific things that were being discussed
Oh, jeez.
and shared, and somehow no one thought to say, wow, that might be a problem. Why is this information being shared? I mean, it's not like you're sharing information. Okay, we're all going to meet up and we're all going to protest. We're going to march down the street. That was not what was being said. It was a little more nefarious, it seemed like.
Yeah. Well,
this is all being investigated, of course.
And a lot of it, it's easier to look back and say, wait a minute, why didn't somebody do this or do that? But it's an awfully big world out there and an awfully big social media network. So I don't know how they do what they do. However, there was knowledge of the president getting a group together, asking for people to be together. They didn't just show up all of a sudden when he was speaking. Before that, when he said, come on, I'm going to go with you. Let's go over to the Capitol and show, you can't do this without showing strength. Let's go show strength. Well, I'm not suggesting for a second he wanted any of that stuff to happen, but you got to be mindful these days that your words do have meaning and do have power.
And the Capitol Police, the chief of Capitol Police has resigned now.
Right. I mentioned that when we came on that this guy was forced, and there's going to the sergeant of arms.
Sergeant of arms in the Senate and the House.
They're going to go for their heads. And, it's just the way it is. But I have to tell you, I think the country has gone through enough. The idea of trying to oust the president with less than 2 weeks to go. I think the country will be better off if we just try to settle things down, let's do that transition of power. Let's show the world, and including ourselves, we can in fact do the transition of power in a safe and sane way. I don't know that we need the last week or 2 weeks of this administration as a time when we have again impeached or used some other way, claiming mental incompetence or whatever that thing is, and just let's get done with it. I honestly don't think that we're in any greater danger with President Trump still in office than we might have been if you would argue that we'd been in great danger for 4 years. Somebody said, well, he can't be on Facebook or Twitter, but he can have it looks like a light show behind you, Marie. Every once in a while it gets bright and dark and bright and dark. I feel like putting on my disco shoes, if I had any disco shoes, and dancing with you. But anyway, I've got to finish my thought or I'll never remember what it was. Somebody said, well, you can't have a Facebook account or a Twitter account because they took it away, but no one's taken away the codes for the nuclear weaponry. And they're like, they're now like alleging that he could go in there and press all the nuclear buttons and wreak havoc with the world. Here's what I'm going to say. I don't think so. Now, if the military does not have a backup system for somebody, if this is just speculating based on those fears and rumors, I think they have a backup plan if something goes crazy or someone goes cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And I don't think those people are going to get to the nuclear buttons and codes to create a nuclear holocaust as they leave office. I don't believe so. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know.
I'm with you. I'm hoping that you're right. And I think right now we should be calling for peace and fairness and truth. And I think your comments make a lot of sense, Paul.
Some kindness.
We're looking at I wrote this in my column for Monday, and I counted that we're 9 days away from a change. 9 days. Do we really want to spend those 9 days fighting, litigating, trying to impeach him again, or throw him out of office saying he's incompetent? Come on, the battle has gone on for over 4 years. There are people who not liked President Trump, and he's given them plenty of reasons not to. And there are people who love President Trump, and he's given them plenty of reasons to love him. And I just think we need to get through the transition. Even he now, took a long time, but even he now has said a peaceful transition of power. And that's, I think, what's better for the country. It may not make the never Trumpers happy, or some of the Democrats who, like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, who want his head and have wanted his head for as long as he's had a head. So I just hope we don't go through that as a country. That's my hope. It is 5:56 at News Talk 760 WJR.
This report is sponsored by SafeExcavator.com. Call or click 811 before you dig. There's a lot of stuff underground you can't see, and every few minutes somebody digs into a line, pipe, cable, or wire. Don't be that person. Call or click 811 before you dig and visit SafeExcavator.com.
We've got it, our WJR traffic and weather. First, that means we have the one and only Dana Clark.
Unfortunately, we have an accident 96 westbound at Milford Road. A wreck there is blocking the right shoulder. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel, sponsored by the Carpenters Labor Management Partnership Team. Make a career change today and join the skilled trades at Carpenters. LMPT contractors are looking for professional, hardworking individuals that want to build a career with great pay, full retirement, and family health care. Text JOB to 855-424-2562. That's JOB to 855-424-2562. Well, we'll see some sunshine finally today. Cloudy skies and partly cloudy. That means the sunshine will peak out this afternoon, a high of 31. A few clouds tonight, your low 25 for the weekend. little bit of a warm up on Saturday, 38. If you call that a warm up, we'll see some sunshine once again in the afternoon. Saturday night, clear and 22. For Sunday, mostly cloudy and a high of 34. Clouds, 28 degrees. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Marie Osborne in about 2 minutes.
Dubster, as we continue our behind the scenes conversation, maybe we should try to see if Betsy's willing to talk this morning. I know you. Oh, I can't hear you. I think you're on mute, Dub.
Oh, yeah, he's on mute.
I muted myself again to ask Brian why Dana sounds so different.
Yeah, I can check I haven't changed anything.
Sounds like you're coming through your computer rather than a separate microphone.
Well, I'm on default microphone. Should I be on that or should I be on communications?
I don't know.
We're not the right people to ask.
I'll switch it.
Default might be the computer itself.
Yeah.
You want the auxiliary,
USB.
The what? USB, yeah.
USB connection.
Okay, there we go. Is that better?
No.
Didn't change at all.
Changed it to USB.
Interesting. I don't know why that is.
Scarlet echo cancellation I have on.
You sound like you're swimming.
I have echo cancellation.
You sound like you're in the.
It's in the
Wait a minute. What are you touching?
I moved it forward. I moved it closer.
Oh, that's better.
That is?
The closer you are to the microphone, the better it's going to sound.
Okay.
I thought the microphone was in that cord that you've got there, that right there, that little, like on a, iPhone thing.
Hold your ears. Okay, there we go.
It still isn't your normal.
Close self.
My normal loud self.
No, close.
Dumpster, Betsy DeVos. Don't.
Oh yeah. Squirrel.
Right.
I will send her.
Yeah, she resigned, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Somebody else who Elaine.
Elaine Chao.
Leaving.
Elaine Chao left, and I suspect there'll be more.
Mulvaney. McMulvaney did too.
If they could just get the president on the golf course, just take him to the golf course and drop him off and leave him there.
Actually, somebody said that last night.
Just leave him there. Just let him play golf and just let him.
But I do think Paul's right. I think all eyes are on what's going on in the White House. I think that he's not being left to his own devices there. I think
he's not going to.
Are on high alert.
Somebody's watching. Yeah. Bill Cox, happy Friday.
Yay.
We like the Friday. And there's Radar's mother, Ann Pisker Albertson, TGIF. Thank you for that. So we had all of our nice group of people. We had a great lineup. Always nice to have them. Our loyal followers that are watching us. Well, there's a good Rebecca Arch Smith. So clearly my cousin. They would just waste taxpayers' money if we spend the next 2 weeks doing all kinds of legal things to try to throw the president out.
How much has already been wasted? My goodness.
Oh, well, just the Russian collusion things, millions and millions of wasted dollars.
I think that we should spend.
That's criminal activity.
Yeah, I think we should spend 2021, though, in all seriousness, really, really working toward peace and trying to get along more.
I think that's absolutely correct.
Calling for peace. I don't think that we can continue like this. And I agree that further legal action is just going to continue to stir it up.
It's to what end? That is clearly a personal vendetta. It's not for the best for the country to do that.
And I get it.
And Chuck.
Right, but I get that, obviously what occurred was just completely wrong and inappropriate and unacceptable. And so I'm not saying that, it was right. I'm just saying that you have to think about the cost.
I just want to say something before we get back to, because it's not that important, but it's important to me. I take vitamins, I take supplements, and I don't do well with, I've always said if you're going to use sugar, use real sugar. I've never done well with diet pops. I've been against forever. That list goes on. I don't have to go through my whole list, but it's astonishing to me. It's like this, I'm all across the board on this, but it's like parsley showing up on your plate for virtually everything. And you say, why is parsley always on things? And of course, the old line used to be crime. I don't want to say the mafia because you can't say the mafia anymore, really. Organized crime. I mean, we used to talk about that in Monroe. It must be that organized crime controls the parsley because there's parsley on everything. Why would you put parsley next to a grilled cheese sandwich or whatever? But anyway, now I'm looking at my supplements, and some of them had been upsetting my stomach, and I couldn't figure out why. The supplement has sorbitol in it. Now, can somebody? I don't do well with sorbitol, mannitol, all those fake sugars. I don't. And so I'm asking a question. Why would there be any kind of sugar, let alone a fake sugar, in a vitamin supplement?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Why would they put sorbitol in something you're not tasting? You are swallowing it. And just a note for our friends who might have the same sensitivity that I have, check your vitamins because you look at the other ingredients and you'll be astounded and you say, why is that in there? Well, that's what I did with this. This is expensive, and now I can't use it.
It's a multi?
This is CoQ10, which anybody who's taking a statin, and we got this from Dr. Andrew Weil years ago, he told our listeners, besides not using anything that was partially hydrogenated, he said take CoQ10 if you're taking a statin because it replaces something the statin kind of takes away, and this is better for heart health. So and Cunol is one of the great brands. This is Ultra CoQ10. Well, I went with Ultra because, like a consumer, I thought, well, that must be better than regular. Regular CoQ10 does not have, from this company at least, does not have sorbitol. The Ultra CoQ10 has sorbitol.
The Paul W. Smith Show, News Talk 760, WJR.
Good Friday morning to you. It is the 8th day of January, and yes, indeed, it is Friday.
Yay!
Ooh, you can say that again.
Yay!
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It is Friday, January 8th, 8th day of 2021. There are 357 days left in the year. The team is here, including the rooster. For who the rooster crows, well, that would be for all of us. But Marie Osborne leading the way of the hour with the news at the top and the bottom and bulletins at once, should they be needed. And lately they were needed a lot. Marie, thank you for that. Dana Clark checking traffic, weather, and a thought or two and some opinions in the first 45 minutes of the show that are
movies
online.
Today, Paul. There'll be movies today.
Movies. We'll do our movies with
8:18.
Dana at 8:18 and Movie Show Plus and is it called Movie Show Plus? Yeah. And
did you have your coffee?
I am, but not enough, not quickly enough. You know, the new software was sent down while we slept or tried to sleep for our Apple products.
Oh, really?
So when I went to try to sign on with my computer this morning, I had to go through an entirely new process to get back online with what I needed. And so if something throws you off, even for 10 minutes in the morning, because I'm like this, I got to do this stuff and it's done at a certain time and it's, you know, all that. So it kind of threw me. So it took me longer to start drinking coffee. Anyway, that's what happened.
But more importantly, is the coffee maker working, Deb?
Well, that's a long story. Mike came from AbsoPure. Mike was wonderful, wonderful man who's helped me in the past. And because it's built in, there's some complications. And boy, you go into this stuff and you go, how did they get the wire behind there? And when the water hose goes around the refrigerator and down it was just complicated. Unfortunately, he's got to come back and do a little more tweaking today. But anyway, so Brian is pressing all the right buttons, doing that back in the Golden Tower, the Fisher Building. Kim is sending me information. I've got some I'm trying to get to because there's a lot. There's a manhunt underway for a suspect who left pipe bombs during the Capitol riots. This was a really organized thing, as Marie mentioned earlier, in the social media. people talking about only 300 cops from this hour to this hour. I mean, somebody was planning this and taking advantage of this moment to wreak the havoc they did. That doesn't let the Capitol Police or all those other folks off the hook. It's just as we look backwards, there's just a lot that went into this. This was not spontaneous eruption. There were people there who were different than the people who were there constitutionally protesting. There were people there who were going to be causing trouble, and they did, and they had planned on it. Anyway, our executive producer, Ann Thomas.
Good morning, Dub, and happy Friday.
Boy, am I glad it's Friday. Fridays are always good no matter what. So here's this other story I wanted to say, and that is that woman, that Maya Ponsetto, whose name doesn't slip off the tongue easily, but the woman who falsely accused the teenager of stealing her smartphone. You know, that one in the hotel, and she throws him on the ground and all of that, and she's a fugitive. They found her. They arrested her. But you know what bothered me about that whole thing? I mean, her whole reaction, everything she did was wrong, and they're throwing the book at her, as well they should. But why didn't the kid just hold up the cell phone, you know, and say, I don't know how to get back to my opening page, but, you know, everyone's got a different page. Why didn't he just hold it up and say, no, this is my cell phone? And everyone would be able to see that it was his opening page, not anyone else's. I guess when you're being attacked, you don't think like that. And he was a kid, but I thought did you understand what I'm saying?
Right. Or somebody could have called his phone.
If I would have walked up to you and said, hey, that's my cell phone, you'd look at it and you go, no, it's my cell phone. Look, there's me with my husband. In my case, actually, the front page of mine is me with Ed, her husband. No, it's Kim and I would just turn it on and show. No, this is not your phone. This is my phone. How did me and my wife get on your phone, you moron? Anyway, but unfortunately, that's not what happened, and he got roughed up, and she's going to pay a big price, and well, she should. Speaking of prices, what would it be like to go anywhere, anytime, and not even worry for a second what the price is? You know, when I grew up, the rare times we went out to dinner, I would look at a menu, and my dad would say, why don't you think about this over here? And I thought, well, why would he point to that? I don't like that. But it was because he was looking at the price. And I was, it took me years to understand that I was being directed toward certain prices. Well, what's it like to be Elon Musk, now the richest man on the planet? He overtook Jeff Bezos running a fake car company, does a fine job with the rockets. They did another great job with the rockets the other day. There's no question about that. But he's worth $188.5 billion, $1.5 billion more than Bezos. But what's it like to walk around knowing you could buy anything you could ever want or need, and you could spend millions of dollars a day for the rest of your life and not run out of money? I mean, it's unfathomable.
How much do you want to bet that he actually looks at what his prices are?
Probably
right,
cheap.
Dana?
He's probably cheapo.
Well, I know that's what they've always said about, well, that's how rich people get rich.
Right.
He tipped me $1 on a $500 bill. That's what they have always said. But you're right. It's more than that when you get up into those kinds of figures, the stratosphere. I mean, it's just.
Well, speaking of, Mega is tonight, and Powerball Friday and Saturday. So get your tickets, and maybe you can have.
Are they like over? Are they $500 million?
Yes, probably
because they were 400 million.
Yeah.
So and I got so confused when I was thinking about this the other day earlier in the week at the 400,000. I mean 400 million. I said, gee, what would I do with $400,000? And I said, wait a minute, no, it's $400 million. And that's when Ann got the alert and said, I don't know. I think I'll play. I think that's significant enough to buy a lottery ticket.
I think I'll play.
You know what's interesting about these big Powerball prizes is that they did a little story the other day, and I think it was on one of the nightly news shows, where they talked to people on the street. What would you do if you won, the lottery? And I've done those interviews myself on the street, and people say, "Oh, I'm going to buy carpeting that is 6 inches thick. I'm going to buy a big car. I'm going to buy my mother a house." All these fancy things, right? Almost every person just during this time that they asked about this, they said, "Well, I'm going to give some to charity."
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, a lot of people said.
Really?
A lot of people said,
That.
I'm going to share it with people. I'm going to give it to some people. I'm going to pay off, my thought always has been to pay off all my family's mortgages.
Yeah.
It's like a dream. Like, wouldn't it be great to be able to pay off everybody, family and friends, mortgages? But yeah, I noticed that, Marie. That's a good point. That virtually everyone said that's what they were going to do. They were going to share it. In fact, there's a TikTok out where there's a homeless one-legged man sitting in a wheelchair, and a guy comes up and says, "I'm really cold. Can I borrow your jacket?" And the homeless guy gives him his jacket, and the guy goes around the corner and stuffs cash into the pockets, and then gives him back the jacket. And then he watches this guy. And the guy sitting there where he was sitting hands money out to other people to come by. He gave all the money away. That's just
so heartwarming.
By the way, Kim just sent me the note that we should all look at again, but that something somebody touched on here earlier, the rioters who took over the Capitol had been planning online in the open for weeks to do what they did. It was, and when we always hear about them monitoring if they know what we're doing and can put an ad next to what we're thinking because we looked at something and they go, "Oh, all right, let's go. Let's do that. Let's give him all the things that he wants to buy so he'll buy them." What the heck's going on with the security issues when you have people scheming openly online to take over the U.S. Capitol? These social media people can't do something about that? That's irritating. That's starting to irritate me. Have you noticed?
No. Shocking, everyone. Shocking.
It is 6:15 at WJR.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
It's a new year, but for kids in poverty around the world, things are still desperate. Join Compassion with your one-time $40 gift to provide a COVID relief kit to a family in poverty. Text the word GIVE to 83393. That's GIVE to 83393.
And at 6:15, we check it. Dana actually checks it. We check with Dana, and she'll check traffic and weather first on WJR. Miss Clark.
Accident 96 westbound at Milford Road. It is blocking the right shoulder, also partially blocking that exit ramp. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel, sponsored by North Bloomfield Properties. If you're looking for a place to call home, let North Bloomfield Properties find the best place for you and your family. They also provide pre-screened quality tenants to their property owners. They love to match good people to good homes. Contact them today, northbloomfield.com.
And keeping the clouds around this morning, broken them up a little bit. Clouds, clear sky, and spots. And as we go through the afternoon, your seasonable temperatures with a cloud-sun mix. High 33. Some clouds tonight, just slightly colder, 24. Suburbs a little bit colder. Start the weekend Saturday with a pretty decent day. Cloud, sun, upper 30s. Sunday, we cloud over with highs in the mid-30s. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Staging on News Talk 760 WJR.